Good morning, everybody, and a huge welcome to Google Digital Garage this morning for our upcoming session, our bite-sized training session on tracks website traffic in Google Analytics. Absolute pleasure to be here this morning, and great to see a number of you turning up in the chat already as well. So hello to everybody. So my name is Glenn, and I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. So I'm an experienced digital skills trainer. I'm a digital marketer, and I've got a lot of experience previously in previous lives in terms of management and consultancy. So it's really about helping businesses develop ways to grow, keeping up with the new technology and the new updates that are all coming through. So hopefully I can add a little bit of value to this session this morning. Google Analytics gives you that essential flow of information to help you track your users and track the activity that's going on your website. So I'm really looking forward to running through some of the updates to the new GA4 or Google Analytics 4, which you'll be seeing in a few moments. Now, I also would like to introduce in the chat my good friend and colleague, Mohammed. So welcome to Mohammed this morning as well. You'll see him in the chat there. You can see him as Mohammed, a Google Digital Garage, with a little blue spanner just by the side of his name. So Mohammed is going to be with you in the chat throughout the session. So please do firstly come in and say hello. I can see a couple of hellos coming already from Lucy Zernakova. Good morning and looking forward. Good. Thank you, Lucy. Good, great to see you here. And Bugembo the Bug. Great name. Morning to you too. And you're from the UAE. So again, a good international audience this morning. Welcome along. And if you are, there we go, a few more coming in now. Gina Power from London. And Lucy's from the Czech Republic. So welcome along and thank you so much. Interact with Mohammed as we work through this session, as we work through the slides. Then please do ask questions. Anything that comes up, we're here to help, and we'd love to interact. We'd love to know your experience. What's your experience with Google Analytics so far? Are you on Universal Analytics? Are you looking to transition over to GA4? What's your status? What's your experience? What are your main challenges? Let us know what's going on. And again, it's great for us to understand, I think, from a community perspective, how we can all help each other out as well, which is one of the nicest bits about these types of sessions. Now, before we just get started, I will quickly mention the Google Digital Garage website, which is g.co/digital garage. It's probably where you booked up for today's session. So go back there, you can book up on a number of sessions of different durations. So we've got the bite-sized sessions, just like these ones, which are 15 minutes long. Some are 45 minutes, some are an hour long, depending on the session that you like and what you can fit in, really. We're trying to make this as convenient to you as is possible in terms of you fitting in this valuable learning and integrating it into your day and into your time. So bear that in mind. The good thing about the Google Digital Garage site is it's really well laid out. You can book sessions to fit in with your schedule. There are dates available for the sessions that are running. Book yourself in, get an email link in. Now, one of the things you'll also understand, which is pretty useful, is that you can, if you need to revisit this session, because it's a lot of information for the 15 minutes, if you need to revisit the session, you can come back on the link that you joined with for the next 24 hours. So if there's anything you need to revisit, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's get going. Let's have a look at what we're going to be covering this morning. Okay, we're going to be helping to understand Google Analytics. So this is all about going from Universal Analytics to GA4, Google Analytics 4, the new updated, more intuitive version of Google Analytics. And then in the second part of the session, we're going to understand where our users are coming from by a quick dip into the acquisition report. There's obviously going to be a lot more learning for you to do once you've completed this session, but hopefully this will spur you on to go and look up some resources and get yourself fully acquainted with the power of Google Analytics, which is absolutely huge. It's invaluable, I think, Google Analytics, in terms of understanding what's working, how your website is working, what pages are working, where your users are finding their biggest interest points. Could go on for a long time on that. So let's get started and have a look at how we understand Google Analytics. It is, as I've mentioned, an indispensable part of everyday marketing strategies. You can track the performance of your ads, your website traffic, your online activity. It gives you insights. I mean, it essentially is an insights tool, how you can improve your ads. Everything digital marketing wise is an ongoing topic. You know, you have to update, you have to revise, you have to analyze, you have to think, how can I do that better and better each time? And Google Analytics helps you to track that activity, helps you track what's working well, and helps you track what you can improve on, which I think is its greatest strength. So let's get started. Let's have a look. Now, you can see on the screen there, Universal Analytics versus Google Analytics 4. So before we dive into the data and how to use the data from Google Analytics, let's have a look at the updates that are so prominent and how we can actually get ourselves set up. So if you're using Google Analytics, the Universal Analytics, as it says there, you will be aware that it's changing. The changes and the transition is going to be in full effect by mid-2023. We're going to concentrate today primarily on Google Analytics 4. So if some of the images in the session look a bit different, then that's your reason why. Because although it's more intuitive, there's lots more going on, it's a cleverer version of Google Analytics, the main core concepts are actually very, very similar. So let's run through some of the definitions before we do actually get going. So if you have a look on the right-hand side there, you'll see you've got user. So a user is the person that's visiting your website. Now that's linked to a property. So a property is a characteristic of that person, of that user, which could be the location that they're in, again, key to know where you can send your marketing efforts to, or perhaps the language that they're using if you have an international audience. And then if we move down the page, we've got a session is every time that someone visits and the duration of that visit. It's interesting to know, are people spending as long as you'd expect them perhaps to spend on the website? And you'll also understand perhaps how many users you've got and how many sessions to understand if certain users are coming back again and again to your website. So you may well be getting people coming through and becoming engaged and loyal users of your website. They're coming back, they're looking at your information more than once. Now, a session event is an action that they take on your website. It could be like viewing a page, adding something to their basket. It could be when they're checking out, which is a great thing, which we're all looking for, I think, if we've got a sales-related website, or filling out a contact form. You know, people could be signing up for your newsletter. All of these events are trackable in Google Analytics. So while I'm telling you some of these definitions, it would be good perhaps if you wanted to take notes of the page that you can see on the screen, or as it says down there, get started at analytics.google.com. So I'm sure Mohammed won't mind sharing that link, analytics.google.com, and that will give you a very conclusive overview from the absolute beginning in terms of Google Analytics and how to set it up. So let's get back now to a couple of these definitions that we're looking at. So a parameter is the extra information about an event. So we've looked at events, like viewing a page, adding something to the basket. But if we look at a parameter, if the event is a checkout, the currency would be the parameter. So we've got the event, then perhaps they're checking out in a particular currency. If you're offering multiple options, that would be one of the parameters that you can then start to look at and to track. If the event is adding something to their basket, the parameter might be the number of items. So are people buying single items, multiple items? Perhaps your website has got those. If you buy this, then we recommend that you buy these additional items. All of those things can be tracked to see how successful those promotions, that aspect of your marketing actually is. So the important changes really to be aware of is that GA4, as we'll call it, GA4, Google Analytics 4, helps you better understand the consumer journey through your website rather than focusing on isolated sessions. So it gives you a broader view from which you can then plan your campaigns, plan your ad campaigns, and also help to optimize your site with your search engine optimization techniques, or SEO, as it's known. GA4 is better designed to help you see trends in your data. It's all about the trends. It's all about, are we going up or are we declining for some reason? And then being able to amend our site and our marketing campaigns to correspond with those trends to make sure we're always trying to get the best out of our site and out of our users. And it gathers information from both websites and apps. Again, looking at how technology changes, how user activity changes, that's really, really key. Okay, so with those definitions in place, as we can see, it's a more intelligent Google Analytics. It's got machine learning at its core. again, machine learning, every piece of information that goes in contributes to us understanding more about what's going on. So we can find those insights, those trends, and those predictions across the devices. So the main reports that we have are the acquisition, the engagement, and the monetization reports that you can see highlighted in red on the left-hand side. So we will have a brief look at acquisition today, but ultimately acquisition means where are my users coming from? Engagement is how are my users behaving on my website? So where are they coming from? What are they doing? Monetization, how are users spending money? Absolutely key. Retention, are users returning? So are we getting that loyal customer set that we want? And then we can start to think about how we can nurture them to become repeat customers. So we can use a split into demographics and the tech that they're using. So who are our website visitors? What country and city are they in? You can drill down into a great deal of detail, and what type of device are they using? So there is it laid out quite clearly for you. Again, please take a couple of notes on that one. Acquisition, where are my users coming from? Engagement, how are users behaving on my site? Monetization, how are users spending money? And retention, are my users returning? So now in the second part of the session, understands where our users are coming from. We're looking into those acquisition reports. We've got a great funnel here. So how does traffic tracking work? So you can see the funnel moving down. We've got overall traffic acquisition. So get a snapshot of where your site traffic is coming from. Locations, countries, cities. Page traffic, get more specific page traffic data, understand what's going on those particular pages, the amount of page visits that you're getting. Are people going to the pages you'd expect them to be going to? Really useful piece of analysis. So mine deeper to see what is happening on each page. Are people looking at the things that you spent a long time setting up on your website, or are those elements missing the mark? Landing page visits, and understand which pages people are landing on when they visit your site. So you might well be sending people through perhaps from your social channels. You may well be linking offers from two particular pages. So you can see, are people landing on your homepage? Are people going through to the sales page, to the particular item page or the particular service, depending on what it is that you're offering? So we can track our website traffic on acquisition and then traffic acquisition. In this Google Analytics web traffic report, you can see which channels drove the most traffic to your website. So we can see from the example on the screen that that would be organic search. Then directly people typing your website into their browser. And then we've got some elements of traction with display ads, your display ads, and your paid search ads as well. So you can understand what's working for you and perhaps the areas you might need to improve on. Now, who are your users? Again, looking at those countries, we can see here that the users are mainly coming through from the US, then China, then India, then the UK, Germany, Canada, and Japan. Helps you to then look at what campaigns you want to be running across which different territories you might be thinking. Sometimes you can actually get surprises in terms of where your users are actually coming from or linking to you from. I've certainly spoken in my time to a number of businesses who have thought that their key users, their key audience was coming in from the UK, and it did actually turn out to be India or the United States. So they then turned their whole operations around by revising their website, making it more United States and India friendly. And their traffic did then actually go through the roof as well. So it's really worth understanding. You know, we can make assumptions. The thing about Google Analytics is it helps us to become much more data driven. And that's the key. You know, we're working with actuals. That is something that we can then help to refine our approach. We can help us understand our website visitors, the types of audiences that we're reaching. We can then change our strategies. If it's not quite the audience we were expecting, you can then adapt the way that you speak to them. So again, absolutely crucial data. Now you can understand from the length of this session, which is now almost over, we've had a quick dive into the acquisition report, that there are absolutely lots of things that you can do with Google Analytics. We've just really touched the surface. So have a look at analytics.google.com in order to get going more. There are plenty of courses. If you go onto the Google Skill Shop, there are GA4 courses available there now, free courses, which will help you understand the acquisition report, the engagement report, the monetization report, the engagement. It's really going to help you to understand the full flow of your data and to get more out of your website. You put a lot of time and effort and possibly resources into your website. So using a tool like Google Analytics is going to help you to make the most of your time and effort. As it says on the screen, so switch over to Google Analytics 4. There is in the main admin dashboard a couple of ways to help you to do that if you're already on Universal Analytics, and then find 3 sources of website or page traffic. Get yourself going, understand what it is that you're looking at now. I also use YouTube quite often, lots of demonstration videos on there, how to use GA4, how to get the most out of GA4. Think about some keywords and some search terms, and again, add to your knowledge by using all of the resources that are available to you. Okay, so I can see we're just out of time now. So thank you so much indeed for your time and attention this morning. Hope you've enjoyed the session and it's given you that useful insight into GA4 and what it can do for you. Come back to the Google Digital Garage site, which is g.co/digital garage, and sign up for more sessions. Again, 15-minute sessions, 45-minute sessions, hour sessions, depending on what you can fit in and what works for you. Then also please leave us some feedback. Mohammed will drop you the link to the feedback in the chat as well. And all it leaves me to do now is to wish you a fantastic day. I hope that you're exploring and your interest in Google Analytics now is going to help you and your website to achieve new heights and to achieve new levels of retention for all of the customers that you're working really, really hard to get through to your website in the first place. So have a fantastic day, and I will see you all very, very soon indeed on another Google Digital Garage session. Thanks very much indeed, and goodbye.